about this is the time of the year to pick up the pace, to get going, and to have your two seniors do it today. You would expect that they would be the one that would rise to the occasion, wasn't it?
You know, there's a reason St. John's record is what it is. You know, they're not an easy team to play against. You know, they do a pretty good job of controlling the tempo of the game, and I think when we got it up, when we got up 20, there was probably a little bit of a lull, and then we missed a couple layups, and then I think we must lead the country in how many people bank in threes against us. We have like two of those a game, every game. So that's going to, you kind of expect that. And I think once we got Aaliyah and Paige working together again, it's nice to get everybody involved until it's not. And then you got to go to, hopefully players that can, handle that moment. And certainly, Paige and Aaliyah did that. I thought Aaliyah was great at both ends of the floor today. And, say, well, we're going to get 33 and 13 from her every game. Yeah, sure. I would love that. Certainly changes our team. Yeah, the two of them were really good.
Would you like to see the two of them, take that many shots going forward and let the other guys just fill in where you can, or do you like a more balanced approach?
Yeah, no, I don't particularly. There's in a slow game like that, there's not enough shots to go around for a lot of people. But if you have two people taking 36 of your 56 shots, that's a lot. Some days that's the way it's got to be. Most days, I'd rather it be a little more balanced. I'd rather it be spread out a little bit. But our offense, I thought, was like very Like I don't think we had the kind of flow that, and they make it hard for you to get that kind of flow going. So some games you can win just getting 25, 33s up there, and some games you got to win like today.
How about the job Nika did defensively against Drake most of the game? She scored 8 points in the fourth quarter, but before that, she wasn't really much of a factor.
Yeah, I thought they got great contributions from their other guys. And I think that's obviously a good sign for them, because when we played them the first time, they were so dependent on Unique Drake. Seems like today they functioned a little bit better. But Nika's, she takes tremendous pride in that. That's something that she values, getting stops, and she thinks that's, unlike some players, she thinks that's a huge part of the game of basketball.
Aaliyah had 4 steals today.
Just
defensively, what did you like from her on their bigs?
I thought the ones she got late in the game were really impactful. Out in the open floor. Her leading our transition game, though, maybe we would want to change that up a little bit. But I think the fact that she was so active, and she doesn't get it. She didn't get a breather, so she didn't come out of the game, and that's a lot to ask. And yet, she was terrific at both. As I said, she was terrific at both ends, and you would say, well, she got to the free throw line a lot, she rebounded a lot, she made some mid-range jump shots, and that's, to me, a complete game.
Geno, you've talked about this a little before, but on Wednesday, you have a pretty good chance of joining Coach K and Tara as the only coaches in college basketball history with 1,200 wins, and you would have done it, 3 years faster than Coach K, 6 years faster than Tara. You say it just kind of means you've been around a long time, but can you talk about the consistency of this program and the pride you take in that?
As I started to, we were talking, I don't know why the subject came up, because it doesn't usually come up unless Anna brings it up. If it was up to her, we would have a sign for Wednesday's game going, I'm number 3, anything to celebrate something, right? I think if you look at all the coaches that have had, the kind of success that we're talking about, it involved being at one place a long time or being at a bunch of places. And I'm fortunate enough to have been here the entire time. And the ability to keep recruiting the kind of players that keep you at the level that we've been able to stay at for 35 of those 39 years. You look at the way the world is today, I don't think you'll see this happening much going forward. So it's certainly something to be proud of for our staff, for CD and I especially, and for, our fans and everybody associated with UConn. It's a big deal to have won that many games and to be in such company. But it's been really, really unusual. It's not something that we take for granted, for sure. And probably last weekend was a great reminder of. I remember we lost in the Final Four in a couple of those buzzer beaters or something, and somebody said, I forget where, somebody sent me something. People just think that I enjoy reading dumb shit that people say about me, because I'm not on social media, so I don't know any of that stuff. So people feel compelled that they have to send it to me so I can look at it. And they go, he only wins championships when he has the best players. And I thought, there's a really smart guy. That guy should run for president. I said, tell me a coach who's ever won a lot of games, a lot of championships, whatever the case may be, that hasn't coached great players. I mean, that's the whole point that you try to get to, is having the ability to coach the absolute best players. And I don't know that I'd be here for year number 39 right now if I didn't have that opportunity to coach those kinds of players. So, I've been very lucky in that respect.
I'm going to have to audible because Pat stole my question. But does the number of wins that you actually accumulate really register with you or matter to you more than, obviously, the number of banners or the number of trophies? Because if you think about it, in most sports, you probably couldn't name who has the most victories.
Yeah.
Right? I
True.
mean, Connie Mack has the most victories, but he also
Yeah.
has the most losses. He owned the team. So, I mean, you understand what I'm saying. Does
Yeah.
that being number one in that category matter to you, or are you coaching to, put more banners up there?
Yeah. Think about it this way, Dom. I've said this. You get to a stage in a career that what actually does impact your life at this stage. So if we show up in April and there's another national championship banner, how does that change anything? And if we get to, my career ends at, 1,199. Hell, Amy Durant, poor thing, left here scoring 999 points. So look back, what?
1,000 on the nose.
Somebody has 999, I'm telling you.
She hit a 3 against Iowa.
All right, well then you better tell them. You better tell them, because it's wrong in the record book. The point being,
You want to bring her back and set it.
the point, I want to set up a basket. That's right. I'm going to have Keisha pass it to her. Yeah, I think at this point, in a career, there's really nothing that I could accomplish that would make me step back and say, wow, that is really, really, really. I like to think that our basketball program is going to be remembered more for the 11 national championships that we have, rather than the number of wins that I have or may get down the road. But I do think in sports, the number of championships is what the great separator is. You could say somebody's won X number of games, and that's great. To win that many games, I think it's great. But I think the 11 championships for us is what separates Connecticut from every other basketball program in the country.
So there's nothing out there right now where you're saying, okay, when I get this, I'm done.
No.
Get this. It's just day
No.
to day, I'm
Yeah.
enjoying the day.
Yeah.
So-
No. If if they keep offering me a new contract, at some point you're going to say, no, I can't do this anymore. I just don't know when that day is. You know when that day will be? When we can't get players. Or it's what you have to go through to get good players becomes like, do I really want to do that? But our recruiting hasn't fallen off. We're still getting the kind of players that I like to coach and I enjoy being around. As much as you can with 12, sometimes 13, 14. You don't exactly enjoy all of them, but you enjoy being around them. And if you didn't, you wouldn't do this anymore, because there'd be no point in doing it anymore. But my friends back home, hey, stay until you get till you become number one. For what purpose? Seriously, for what purpose? I'm number one.
That would look better on the sign.
I'm number one.
Geno, you talked about Aaliyah having a complete game with the pull-ups and the rebounds and everything. She's been doing that pretty much every single game, like not to the extent of today, but
Yeah.
just so consistent. And so, like, she's become, she's like having a great this season that
Yeah.
like a great player has.
Yeah, she is having an All-American type season. And in the world that we live in now, you have to score a shit ton of points for people to think you're a great player, and that you must be really, really good. You just scored. You look at some of the NBA games. That guy got 70. Wow, I remember when a guy got 50. That was a lot. Now a guy gets 70, and tomorrow night a guy's going to get 82. So, like, how much does scoring points really matter anymore? It's lost its value. But how you score them, when you score them, what you mean to your team. I like to see how many other big kids around the country have the responsibility that Aaliyah has on our team, given who we're missing. So for her, what she's doing is even more impressive, because if she had 3 other post players that we rotated in and out, and she got to have, a breather here and there, but she doesn't. She doesn't get to do that. And I think that's why she's, I think, deserving of being an All-American.
And like you said, at the end of the game, at the end of the game, like she missed a couple free throws. She was looking like a little tired, like maybe you were going to take her out soon. And then that's when she got the steals
Yeah.
in the open court.
Yeah. Yeah, you can tell when a player obviously has been, has left everything out there, when they just can't go any further. But, I think our kids are terrifically conditioned by Hootie, and we were up 20. It got away from us. They started making some shots. They cut it to 7, and then we responded the way a really good team is supposed to respond. And our 2 seniors responded the way 2 All-Americans should respond.
Anything else?
Thanks, guys.